Before you build the product, you basically put the product in the market. It's kind of like pre-launch or pre-selling it. And you see where all the things that people start picking on it right away. Where's the smoke coming out of? So you're thinking about what do you need to market and what do you need to start focusing on? And I think, again, it goes back to that pre-launch idea, except you're letting people pick on the product ultimately.
Whenever you're doing validation, give yourself a time frame and stick to it. And don't say 3 months, 6 months, 15 days, 30 days. Put a plan together, stick to it. And if you get 70% done, go.
You need to create your own line down the street waiting for your product in order to see that true validation of what you think. Because sometimes you may not even realize how good of an idea you have until you see that line down the street.
All right, let's shoot this pod, guys. Good challenge. We probably need to launch another challenge of some sort.
I think you and I are probably going to keep doing
I'm going to keep going. Mine was a lifestyle. I was already on it before we started.
Yeah.
I haven't hit my goal. My
I haven't either, and I'm still working.
You didn't take the fat shot or anything, right?
No,
didn't we talk you out of that?
I didn't. I got scared. I read too much TikTok stuff.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I never did. I never did. I still have my first one still in the fridge. I didn't
know that.
Yeah, I got scared. Too many side effects, this challenge, that
Dude, they don't know. Like, that's scary stuff.
Yeah, I don't like the stuff that was talked about with it, so I decided to avoid it.
I actually messaged him the other day because I thought he was on it.
Yeah.
Because I was at my doctor and we were having a conversation. And he's like, people that use it when you're not eating enough anymore, but then it also reduces your muscle mass.
Yeah. And I've been always some of the terrified about it. And I don't want to lose muscle mass because what they tell you when you're in your 40s, that's what makes you shrink and like deteriorate essentially. So I didn't like that idea. And, some of the reports coming out nowadays are not so positive about some of the things in the past.
Well, it's just so early. They don't know.
It's still so early.
It could be like everything else. I
decided not to do it. And it's been better because it's been a lifestyle change, right? I've gone into pretty much a carnivore keto diet or whatever. And that's besides right now, I'm eating some carbs.
But to be fair, even on these last couple of days, I mean, you guys saw me when I got here and I started eating I'm He's a wild animal.
This guy also balances 10, 15 pounds at a time.
I destroyed the pizza, but when we meet up and we have these amazing pizza and food and bad stuff, you actually behave. You don't go crazy.
I try not. I try to.
And I'm just.
I've got self-control. That's all it is.
How much weight did you gain during Shop Talk? Because you went crazy during Shop Talk.
Well, I mean, it's all water weight, right? So I think I'm walking around, so I'll get back and I'll be up 8 or 9 pounds.
Okay.
But in 3 days,
it's gone.
No carbs, it's all gone, and I'm back to where I was.
It's also water weight has a lot to do with, and we got to get to this pod, but water weight has a lot to do with carbs, right? Yep. They say that it has a lot tied in with carbs. So if you reduce carbs, your water weight reduces automatically because protein does not hold and retain carbs.
Yeah, I'm not eating that much.
Water weight, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, let's shoot this thing.
Joining us today is Dr. Oz.
2, 1.
Welcome to the Awesome Pod, where we talk a lot. E-com is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop. Amir from the agency and Jimmy from SAS. John has an Android, but give him a pass. Cause he's an operator building brands like a carpenter. And that's Brian, he is the marketer. Like I said, this the Awesome Pod, where we talk a lot. E-com is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Awesome Pod. Thanks for listening to our little rant about our little challenge. Hopefully, you guys, if you've listened to our pod for long enough, we try to keep all the listeners updated. With that being said, we are here with a show about perspective from the eyes of an agency, SaaS, operator, marketer, focus on the D2C, e-commerce, and retail space. Going around the room real quick, we've got John Roman to Andrew Loving, Survival King. What's up, John? How you doing? Winner of the weight loss challenge.
Yep, 37 pounds.
We're going to try to get you to get 10 pounds back this week.
I mean, it'll probably happen.
Me too, probably.
Yeah.
But we'll lose it next week, so it's all good. Amer Grosnich, CEO of Pirello, website builder. These are the things that he wants me to say now. Welcome to the pod, sir.
I've been on the pod.
Oh, you are?
I have a few episodes.
Just making sure. All right, and then we got Brian McDonald, King of Meat, self-proclaimed funniest dude on LinkedIn. What's up, dude? How are you doing, man?
Yeehaw, we're in Texas. They say
we are in Dallas,
I think
Texas.
that's
I saw one lady across the street yesterday. She was like, yeehaw.
To you?
To you, or just randomly?
Just randomly.
Just randomly?
Yeah.
That's
Susan.
what we do in Texas.
Her name was Susan.
That's what we do here. Her name was Susan, is that what you said?
Did you have a combo with her?
You could just tell.
You can just tell. And my name is Jimmy Kim. I'm the moderator, the brand, the man of the people, and I'm the email dude here. With that, if you want to see Brian wearing his funny shirt, he'll be wearing it at Commerce Roundtable. Hopefully we'll get it on video so we can put it on and let the viewers see it for those who can't join us. But the event is September 22nd, 23rd, 2-day event, San Diego. If you're in direct-to-consumer, e-commerce, or retail, and you want to come join us with 600 others on the water with Gary Vaynerchuk, Taylor Holiday, Ezra Firestone, Chase Diamond, and you want to come hang out with a bunch of other great speakers, network, and learn, we highly recommend you check it out. Early bird is the coupon code for $100 off. The ticket, it's commerceroundtable.com. Show notes, check them out.
You know, the location is just so phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
on the water,
literally on the water.
alone,
Like you step one step too far and you fall into the water.
I think when it's not a conference thing, there's cruise ships coming.
Correct.
I want to go on that. You want to go on that?
Correct.
The boat?
I've transformed a cruise ship terminal to make it a conference center, and we are, to them even, they think that we're the most hilarious, funniest group to ever have rented their venue because no one else does that. No one's ever done that. We were the first one to ever do that.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that.
They have other like large format things that happen, but they've never had someone come transform into a venue.
I mean, it
that kind of
works.
stuff. Yeah. And I always look for something that's unique and different, and we run a unique, different conference.
And Gary V.
Yeah, and Gary V. Right. So if you want to hear him just come rant at you, get you fired up, that's also the place to be at. So with that, guys, today's pod topic, and we're going to dive in one step deeper because we've heard from people that we want to continue to kind of get deeper and more into different topics that we talk about. And, a couple pods ago, we talked about, what was the topic? Exact topic was how to launch a new product in 30 days. And we got into a lot of different things. But one of the key topics we talked about, and we continue to talk about because we talked about it last pod, is validating your product idea. And so today's pod idea is how to validate your product idea without spending a dime. And instead of just at the top level, just kind of diving in and just kind of talking about it, we want to get really tactical and really dig into each layer of things that you want to be doing. And so we want to make sure that we're doing that. So before we get into it, what is the pre-validation mindset before you start building how to get into the validation? What is the mindset that you have to be in order to be in there? I think just to kind of set the stage, I would say like having an open mind, being really good at feedback, being honest with yourself. These are all things that you've got to get mentally right. What other things or different things do you guys think about when you can think about validation period? Like what do you got to get into?
So, we mentioned a little bit on the other episode, but the reality is when you're having these conversations, all the things that you said are the utmost importance, but do not keep this circle that you talk to about this being your friends and family.
Yes.
Because they're going to just tell you what you want to hear. They're not going to be real with you, and they're going to give you false hope. Just like they'll make those purchases and you'll think you have product market fit. Like the reality is you need to talk to people outside of your network.
And they say like entrepreneurs, like you should follow your gut feeling. In this case, do you guys think gut feeling is super important here? How do you guys feel about this?
I think you can use your gut for like validation, but you have to have your ears on. You have to listen, and you have to, again, not let your ego get in the way. Like you have to listen to what the people are saying.
Yeah. I think it goes back to like when you think about, I don't think there's that, and I know I've like ranted about this in the past. There's not that many inventors anymore. A lot of people are just, seeing an opportunity in the market. And
who's your favorite inventor?
Honestly, I think the one that in human history, let me take this back. In our lifetime, the one that saw the biggest opportunity was the inventor of Ring camera. And I think that was the probably greatest invention for a TAM that is everyone. He created his own category of the doorbell that was like mind-boggling. I don't know. I just find it very impressive.
No,
because doorbell's been around forever.
But now with a camera.
But he created his own TAM, right? Like no one does that anymore.
No, it's a fair point,
right? So, but the moral of the story is very few people are coming out with prototypes, inventing their own product. For most people that are listening to this, they want to start their own tumbler business. They want to start their own shoe brand, hat brand, clothing brand. All you're doing is the validation's already in the market. You're just finding a way to either make it better or brand it better in a way in which that, you're selling the same product. So I don't think there's a lot of true inventors anymore at a small scale startup level. I think a lot of folks are just finding a market with the correct TAM, which is total available market.
Total addressable market.
Addressable market. I call it available.
Yeah.
That's how I call it.
Yeah, what you call it. We call whatever you want.
Yeah, just stop.
It's the same thing.
And finding a way to sell that product in their own way or a better way. Or you have the pain point entrepreneur, which doesn't exist a lot anymore. And I think for most people listening to this, they're not going out and spending money on prototypes and inventing a product.
Is there such thing as over-validating? How do you guys think about this? Amir, you're looking at me with eyes.
No, it's interesting because on the previous episode, we talked about how the Shark Tank crew always kind of tells people the way it is.
Oh, and they shot down
but that's
Jamie?
the biggest
Everett?
product, I believe, that they said it was the dumbest idea anyone has ever come up with. But the guy didn't listen to them, kept building, and obviously got acquired by Amazon, I believe it was. So
Yeah,
billions.
but to be fair, I don't think he did a very good job in the tank.
Yeah, and that was season 1, I think, too. It was kind of
early.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
early.
super early.
But yeah, and then also too, it's like it's also tough where everything we just said in the previous episode, you have someone like Scrub Daddy, who I think sold like $18,000 of sponges in their first year. We would have all said, shoot it down.
Yeah.
Now they're doing $580 million
You
a year.
got a sponge with a smiley face?
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? They didn't invent anything. They're just selling a sponge and a smiley face.
Yeah, look at them now.
But yeah, so it's so tricky too, because you have to understand your market, the sponge market, which is also an area that hasn't been infiltrated in a long time. And there was someone actually that said the pickle market. I forgot one of the guys, Jesse. What's his name on social? He's got like longer hair.
Spano?
Yeah. No,
Jesse Spano?
Is that his name?
No, that's
Sure, I don't know.
that's
The
from Saved by the
pickles,
Bell.
like
Yeah,
pickles.
so one of his biggest successful businesses was walking around a grocery store and being like, "There's only 3 pickle brands in the United States. That's weird. I'm just going to create my own pickle brand," because he saw the opportunity that it wasn't disrupted in a long time.
Look at, we're going to get into it in a little bit, but Little Spoon, when we were talking to Ben, he just saw.
He has
saw
no kids. Doesn't plan. I don't think
saw
having
the
kids,
opportunity.
Yeah, crazy. So yeah, it all depends on what it really all depends on what you're trying to do in that regard. But
Set a fire to your past, but don't panic or fret. Live Recover is here, they'll take care of the rest. No bots up in here, just real humans with trust. Whatever you did in the past, leave it back in the dust. Man, conversions are rising like your ROI. 6x your revenue, and that's not a lie. Sales team in your pocket, day and night, bringing in-store vibes to your site, that's right. Your abandoned cart is missing the human touch. Live Recover adds real people to your texts. Live agents who chat with customers in real time, driving higher conversions and sales recovery. Setup just takes 10 minutes. Connect, chat, and convert. Just like that. Visit liverecover.com today and let them know Awesome sent you.
But I think to go back to your question, Jimmy, there is over validating, taking too long, analysis paralysis, as you said. I think you got to take what you can take and make a decision. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about it, what that moment looks like, and it's a little bit different for everyone. But I think sometimes when I talk to entrepreneurs, especially the ones that are starting, they chase perfection. And I think the biggest mistake you can do is chase perfection. There's no such thing as perfect. Recipes for dog food get perfected over time and changed. Things that go into subscription boxes change and you validate it. So it's like, put something good out there and build on it, and don't get stuck in chasing a perfect answer, which is even worse than trying to perfect a product because you don't even have a product yet. You're still in that ideation phase.
Yeah, I think that is probably the most single-handedly most important thing is launch in 2 months. Don't launch in 6 because you want everything to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, and the reality is it's going to change down the road anyway when you take customer feedback and
you have no idea how many merchants I've spoken to that worked on a brand, and it can be something as simple as a CPG item, like a snack or whatever, to like a appliance, and they're like, yeah, and they tell you this whole story, like, I've been perfecting this for 24 months, and I'm like, crap, like that's a long time.
We're gonna launch in 2 years.
Yeah.
I want to get really deep into this a bit, right? The listeners that I want listening to this, they probably go, okay, I get it. Like, this is important. Why am I doing it? So I'm gonna tell you the high level topics that we're gonna talk about, and the whole idea is for you, Mayor, that we don't jump ahead. We want to stay focused on each one of these topics. I'm just picking on you just for fun, but you're giving me the serious death look. Why are you so mad? All right, competitive research, right? That's the first one. Second one, just search volume trend analysis. Third is social listening, right? This is important. I want to keep this separate. Fourth is feedback, okay, and gathering. Fifth is pre-selling, and then 6 is the smoke test. Okay, and we're going to talk about all of these different parts of the tactical side of things. Let's start with competitive research. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about studying your competitors, and let's talk about how do you conduct actual comprehensive competitor research without paid tools. Like how should you be doing this? And I'll kind of start and kick this off. And when I talk about competitive research, dude, it's visiting and getting obsessed with your customer, with your competitor. Looking at their product, ordering their product, even getting a couple samples of their product, going to the store and looking at how their product's positioned, looking at the bags, really just getting to know your competitor. You know, what do they say? Like, know your enemy. What is it? Know your friend.
Keep your enemies close. Wow.
Wait, what is it?
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Correct.
Thank you.
In this challenge, I always tell in the competitor research, it's time to develop your enemies. Like, I believe that every business has to have enemies. And it's not like a negative thing. It's like your villain, right? You've got to have someone. And in my opinion, when you're competitive research stage, the biggest thing is to realize who is the people or the villain in the story that you are going after. And you need to know every little thing of them. What do you guys think about competitive research?
Yeah, I'm going to speak on this because I think when I first joined OMA's, the first thing I did was sign up for a subscription box with all of the fresh food top-selling brands, and then the raw food top-selling brands. So we had Farmer's Dog, We Feed Raw, Viva Raw, Fresh Pet, Fresh Plate. We ordered all subscriptions for 3 months, dissected their email campaigns, flows, their unboxing experience, food comparisons, how they compare to ours, all that stuff. I think a lot of times early-stage entrepreneurs try to dive in too hard where, hey, we clearly see what we want to do. Farmer's Dog has a huge audience and customer base. I just want to create and come out with a business that takes a little bit of their pie, right? So a lot of times it's a lot more simple than that. It's like, let's look at everyone that's controlling the ocean, and how do I get in the ocean and like own my own beachfront property in front of this large ocean? And that's the easiest way to start and get after it, instead of a lot of people, I think, just like go too much down the rabbit hole. In regards to the research element of it. Look, here's what I want to do. Here are the people that are leading the space. What are they doing really well? They already figured it out. You're not going to create anything new. You're never going to invent anything that they haven't already thought of with billions or multi-million dollars. Just go take what they do, apply it in your own way, and then take a little bit of that pie from the ocean. I think it's as simple as that.
I like that. Very straightforward. In fact, that kind of led me to the next question, was the absence of the competitive, right? Do you guys think that, like, if you're doing competitive research and you suddenly realize no one's doing it, is that a good sign or a bad sign?
Well, I mean, more than likely it's a bad sign, right? To Brian's earlier points. But it could be a good sign, right? You could be, pulling the Jamie Ring guys, TAM that didn't exist prior. I mean, it depends on the product. More times than not, though.
If you're not inventing something, then it matters. If you're inventing something, then it doesn't matter to a degree.
So, when BattleBox launched, we didn't have a competitor.
True.
There was nobody doing what we did.
But the products that you were selling were already selling in the marketplace.
Correct.
You didn't invent products and your subscription box.
Correct.
So I don't want to get too technical, but I think there is direct competitors and market competitors. Direct competitors is somebody that will compete with a BattleBox or almost directly. But then you also have these like indirect competitors that are like your Amazon, eBay's resellers.
Yeah, I don't think that's too deep. I think that's good identifying there. There's two types of competitors. I think that is key.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about copycatting these
Sure.
guys.
But what I'm saying is like even with the inventors, that like if you have a net new cam that you're developing, well, the Ring camera is a variation of a security surveillance and a doorbell camera. Is what do those markets look like, and how can you merge them together and say, hey, not only will you get announced when somebody clicks the bell, but you'll know in advance. And some people see value in that, especially too, like what happened that was very interesting at his time. The whole porch pirate thing started to happen a lot, and a lot of packages were starting stolen. People got involved in Amazon.
Yeah, that helped bring.
Yeah,
sure.
and then
It was great
COVID just
timing.
accelerated it, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, 100%.
So there was speaking of the really quick cool story, there was a rumor. I go down like the rabbit hole like Jimmy does when he sees something on social. There was a rumor that Ring went to Sebastian Maniscalco before he did the skit. So this skit was supposedly, it jumped Ring's sales more than any other marketing campaign they ever did, and it was free. And they pitched him with an idea for that doorbell skit that went viral. It was like one of the most viral clips in stand-up comedy history.
Or was it fake?
It was the one where Sebastian was talking about when your doorbell rings today versus 30 years ago. And he did the stand-up skit where he was 30 years ago, someone rang your doorbell or knocked on the door. You didn't care who it was. You invited them in. Oh, have some empamine. Sit down, And now your doorbell rings, and you're like army crawling on the ground, opening up your phone to see who's at the door. And it was the whole modern doorbell, people ringing your doorbell today versus 30 years ago. And it was that someone leaked that it was a pitch from Ring to sort of infiltrate the new, because this was a time that Sebastian was new.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Yes, I saw that Ring doorbell. I got to buy that.
Smart.
Kind of crazy.
Sales tax stress, let Kintsugi slide. AI in your pocket, now enjoy the ride. 9 hours saved, that's time back in play. No tax guy needed, AI clears the way. Errors cut deep, not with this plan. 98.3%, my man. Click once, integrate, white glove, you'll see. Mention awesome, get 3 months for free. Sales tax headaches? Kintsugi AI turns tax chaos into something beautiful. The smart AI monitors, files, and optimizes your sales taxes automatically, saving customers 9 hours monthly while cutting errors by 98.3%. No expensive tax guy needed here. One-click integrations and white glove support. Mention awesome for 3 months free at trykintsugi.com.
If you think about it. No, I think that having good research is super important when you're thinking about this stuff, and just getting to know who's in the market, because you want to be well educated. Because one, the customers will ask you, how do you compare it to blah, 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 or how do you do this? Two, as a positioning, to your point, when you're positioning your product for market, you also need to know what your competitors are positioning it, because you need to find your differentiation or how you identify yourself in the market. In fact, one of the things that I think are really important in this world is search volume and trend analysis. You guys have heard this before. How are people searching for? Are people looking for? There's a lot of free tools like Google Trends and different things that people can use. How much weight do you guys put on search volume? Do you guys think about that when you guys are thinking about your competitors?
Yeah, I think it absolutely matters. What's interesting now, though, is that while the logic of it mattering hasn't changed, consumer behavior on how they search has, right? So now you're seeing a lot of consumer search in platform, like a TikTok, right? Or ChatGPT. So neither of them are providing that data. So we're only now looking at the Google Trends of the world that are taking Google search, which is slowly not becoming as, it's less relevant than it was before. So it's an interesting time. It still matters to people using it. It matters, but you start having to look at that data in a slight bias of knowing that there's probably some age demographics at play.
Well, and there's also the second thing about this, which is really interesting, is the search trends generally tell the past, right? a lot of the emerging trends that are happening, if you're working in more in a fast like movement type things, where else do you search? Is this social media? Where else do you figure out how popular things may be in an emerging trend that you're seeing kind of forward into the future a little bit more? Brian, you have thoughts on that?
I think social is also tricky too, because a lot of stuff you see on social are trends and they're not necessarily like set in stone. Or even on TikTok Shop, for an example, it's harder to measure organically just as a user of social media because of how quick and fast trends roll over. But you can absolutely see something that resonates with people that, for instance, I used his example before, but as a creator, there are opportunities now where my wife will follow a mom of 3 kids, and she attaches to the mom of 3 kids, and all the comments, she'll find new products based off of what people are either complaining about in that video, right? So it's like the clocks. I give you guys the example, the clocks, right? A lot of times you can find exploding products due to pain points in social media based off of content that's created. So you can definitely do research on that where, hey, who's my ICP? Let me follow my top ICP creators that are selling, that I want to sell my product to. So for Dad Gang, it could be finding dads that have the large organic following that are targeting my ICP, and then go through all of their comments and content in order to see if what you're envisioning could come to life through that.
Well, how would you, Brian, to that point where you're kind of talking about distinguishing between the temporary trend versus like a sustainable market trend? How do you think that people need to look at that? Or how do you think entrepreneurs should look at that?
Yeah, I think going back, let's say when were these pre-COVID, the fidget spinners. Remember the fidget spinners?
Oh, yeah.
So that was all you saw on social media for, it probably ran a good 2 to 4 year trend in that time period, right? A lot of people started coming out with their own version of it. But then you can sort of, I think this is where also gut feeling comes into play as well, where you can see that, hey, I mean, eventually no one's going to be selling fidget spinners in 20 years, right? What do you mean?
I mean, people definitely got caught holding the bag.
Oh, for sure they did.
Yeah,
for sure they did.
I may or may not have
started a fidget spinner.
No, we had a business that got caught holding about $20,000 in fidget inventory when they became uncool.
Yeah. So it's you have to have gut feeling too, based off of that. Is this an everyday use case for decades? But then also, if you're starting your product, like a lot of people start businesses based off of trends, capitalize, close down shop, and then start a new business based on what's trending too.
One of the biggest ones that I saw, it was those face masks. Remember during COVID and the pandemic?
With the mouths on them?
Well, anything. Just generally all face masks. Businesses exploded through COVID and the pandemic, and they kind of rose, and then they all died at the same time. And I know people that were doing big volume and big dollars,
big money, yeah,
and then they suddenly overnight, well, my demand dried up. Maybe Meta's broken. Maybe no.
Yeah,
the actual there was no product.
Yeah.
People were buying it because they were looking for, to your point, maybe pranks or sustainable or fashion statements or colors, whatever it might have been at that point.
We sold masks.
You sold masks because it was cool, but then I guarantee you probably ended up holding some at the end because you probably overordered because
we still have some. Yeah,
the trend died as fast as it started.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's trickier like that because you have to know when to get in and when to get out. It's very hard.
It's hard. Have you seen that, Amer? Like, some of the things?
Well, one of the things we did, and to credit to the entrepreneurs I work with a few of them, like during COVID, where everybody got into hand sanitizers.
That was a big one, too.
We sold hand sanitizers, too.
But
John likes to go into trends.
What we ended up doing is
we sold out of them.
Worked with, like, whiskey distilleries because they had the capacity to produce the product. So it was just like a secondary product to them. It wasn't a primary. So as the fad or the needs start to fade, they weren't as impacted. But one thing, and it's a little bit advanced, and I would encourage everyone to spend time on it, even in real time. You can use Google's keyword research for AdWords, and month over month it will give you trends. And you can see if the demand for the product is dying down. There's some tools that you can get some data on Amazon too, and things like that too, as well. But I think that will give you, now to your point, some of the traffic is shifting away from Google, and all of these platforms have their limitations. So that's why you can't have that analysis paralysis and get stuck on things. It's a pulse. It validates your gut feeling. But if, searches for a fidget spinner over 6 months are going down, and it's not a seasonal product.
Yeah, it's probably going to keep going down.
It's probably going to keep going down. So don't try to enter that the market. But
to clarify, I bought a business, and they had about $400,000 in inventory. That was part of the deal. They had $20,000 in fidget spinners. That fidget spinners had not been cool for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And then on the sanitizer and masks, and to your point, it was secondary, right? People were buying products. We had manufacturers that could get us both.
Yeah.
So why would we not?
Sense.
Why would we not sell?
Yeah.
All right.
You can almost treat we're talking about like longevity of product market fit based on what you're selling, almost like a stock, the stock market, looking at a stock where if you see like gradual growth over a 10-20 year time period, you're like, hey, I'm invested in a pretty good stock here, versus a penny stock that pops off for a month. It's most likely you're going to get caught holding the bag. So you have to almost treat it similar to the stock market in regards to trending virality based off of product.
The problem too is, I think, and that's a great point, when there's like these spikes in demand, well, there's also a spike in COGS, because to produce it and get your hands on it, you're going to start to pay a premium, where a company that might have had the face masks already in their warehouses or fidget spinners or whatever the case might be, they're the ones that are benefiting from it the most. So that's the other part. The one thing I would give everyone advice is, if you are going to chase trends, chase them in a way that you can pivot and keep up with it, so you don't become a specialized store, but you become more of a greater reseller, so that you can remarket and retarget consumers as these trends change. But I think that's a very difficult business to be in, to chase trends.
It reminds me of fast fashion. If you think about a lot of the way the fast fashion operates too, right? And especially men's and women's fast fashion, like streetwear in different places, like Fashion Nova, like a lot of their stuff is chasing trends or creating trends that they see celebrities wear. For example, when a celebrity wears a certain outfit, they know for the next 3, 6, 9 weeks that they can push this product, but then the demand's going to die off because everyone's going to saturate.
That's the model. They know that, though.
They know that. And if you treat yourself with that mentality, you could
fine.
probably have a fidget company. You're going to order a certain much, you're going to sell out, and then you're done.
Then you move on to the next thing.
And I think there is probably a world where you could be a trendy company where you're just selling the latest trends, but you got to know how to sustain and control your inventory. And it's not about maximizing, it's about selling the things that you have and getting rid of them as fast as possible. So there's some of that. Let's talk about this as we dig in the next step. So, there's tools to look at the search volumes and different things. The other place to look is social, right? Social listening is a huge piece of this, because a lot of the things that are breaking in the world, even down to media, news, everything these days, are found on social media before they hit the mainstream world, right? Before products can even come out. And sometimes products are already there in position, right? Like, I'm sure there was plenty of fidget spinner companies that didn't know that fidget spinners were going to be cool. And all of a sudden they were one of the coolest kids in town all of a sudden, right? And they had all the inventory. They probably wholesaled the crap out of a lot of stuff to try to get rid of inventory, and they were on the mindset. But social listening is definitely something that's important. Where do you guys go online? Like, let me start with you, dog food, social listening. Where do you go online to go figure out where potential customers is saying about the problems that your product might be solving?
Yeah. So, I mean, Meta and TikTok are the two big ones, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. YouTube is different in the way in which it's a smaller community for us in regards to volume of people in the raw and fresh food sector. But just based off of these pet food has a very unique micro influencer market because everyone's so like honest and open about the benefits that they're seeing, what they're not seeing. Like, there's a ton of people. John one day was like, "Hey, we ordered Farmer's dog, and my dog had explosive,
Yo, OmniSend is back with some new swag. AI is now in the mix, yeah, you heard that. Smarter and better, let AI decide. Personalize every line, take your brand worldwide. How about 24/7 support? MJ of basketball, but email to sports. So sit back, relax, watch the magic unfold. Let the folks at OmniSend get your story told. Tired of staring at blank pages? OmniSend AI doesn't hit you with writer's block. Their new AI writes your emails, personalizes content, and builds customer segments instantly. Just whisper who it's for, and AI figures out the rest. Join 125,000 users already winning with OmniSend's email, SMS, and push notifications. Backed by 24/7 amazing support. Visit omnisend.com today.
And I heard that from
Farmer's
him.
dog.
I heard that from him, and then I went on social media, and you see other people commenting on micro influencers that work with us post, hey, we just switched from Farmer's Dog because my dog had the runs. And it's like you get that validation based off of common things that you hear, common pain points that you hear. I think pain points are a crucial part of business where, like John's pain point over at BattleBox is, yeah, like, could you go and buy all this stuff? A lot of it you could. The issue is BattleBox is saving you time. It's a curated box that will get you ready and prepared to handle any situation that life will throw in front of you, convenience right to your door, versus now having to do your own research, having to buy product A, B, C, D, E, F, G every single month to stock up and prepare, right? So his pain point is that. Our pain point is obviously getting your dogs to live a happier, healthier life in a more convenient way. So our big pitch now to separate and differentiate ourselves in the raw market is we want to be not only one of the best raw food companies, but we saw the pain point of raw pet food manufacturers. Like for you, it works, Jimmy, because you have multiple dogs. For most people, they only have one dog. And a lot of raw food companies will either make 4 or 5 pound bricks of food. Well, the issue is the pain point now is the consumer has to wait a longer period of time for the brick to thaw out, right? They have to cut and weigh it because it's not portioned out for them. So if their dog needs 8 ounces of food, how do I know what 8 ounces in this 5 pound brick is? Well, now your retention drops off because they don't know. It's a whole process. That's why we came out with the 8 ounce portion packs, because 73.4% of all homes in the U.S. that have dogs have one dog. So that is our market where we want to attack. And that's why we're one of the first companies to come out with the peel away portion packs to make it in a more convenient way, right? So we saw the growing TAM in raw food. Obviously, we have a great product, but now the pain point that we're solving is delivering it in the most convenient way possible. So you have to really listen to your consumers too, where, I love company A. The issue is, it takes my husband and I an hour by the time we portion it out and put it in bags and put it in the freezer. It's like, all right, well, clearly this can be solved because I'm seeing this on multiple different pages and channels on social.
You're checking comments, you're checking reviews.
Yeah,
These are things that you're listening when you're thinking about social listening.
Yeah, and this took me a while to understand, but I tell people now, comments over content. I think content is good because it's your top of funnel to finding out a customer's problem or solution. But if you really want to get in the weeds of something, go right to the comments. Don't even watch the piece of content. As long as you know what the content's about, if it's BattleBox selling a knife that goes viral and it has 86 comments, what are those 86 people saying about this knife?
That's interesting.
I don't care what the guy that's being paid to talk about the knife is saying. Right?
Interesting.
What are the other people saying in the comment section? And that's where the Reddit theory comes involved on social.
I've had products that I've bought or, consumables on social that I don't like, and I'll land on someone's page and then I'll be like, this product's not good. And then the post will go away, or the whole post will go away. And I think that that's 100% right. People don't want to have that negative sentiment, but when the product or service isn't good, that's a problem. Amir, when you're working with people, right, you guys are repositioning pages and redesigning pages, right? You're almost taking a ground zero effect when someone says, hey, come redo my page, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys use social listening as a big tool to do research? And what do you guys do that research?
Yeah, I mean, when we go through, we try to, so there's 2 things to this. One is the negatives, but then the other one is the positives. So we try to understand what are the pain points, what are people not liking, to address them proactively and own them in a sense. And then there's the secondary nature of looking at everything, understanding what is working, what do people value that we can highlight even more. So I think it works both ways. So we will look at Reddit, social. If it's an existing company, we'll look at their review platform, see what people are saying. And from time to time, too, depending on the company and how comfortable they feel, we'll also request feedback from their customer service team, because it's the front lines and what are the conversations that they're having. And the whole big thing is when you look at this data is you also have to weigh out, no pun intended, what is the impact of that pain point or that highlight. It may be only applicable to 1% of the people, and it's not worth it. Where there might be a larger repetitive pain point that constantly gets brought up, and you have to kind of track that as well when you go through it. The one thing that I also do, and this is from an agency standpoint, and I think for newer brands, when they're trying to compare themselves or track what bigger companies are doing, I love setting up news alerts through Google.
We have those.
Yeah.
I love them.
And I just get alerts from different platforms. If an agency gets mentioned, if there's acquisitions, whatever the case might be, bankruptcies, I don't have to kind of wait to see what has happened. And then what I usually do when I do get a news alert that's interesting, I go on X and I search for it and see what the conversation is about, and I kind of get my feedback based on that.
That's so interesting. No, I love that as a different way of thinking about social listening. It's definitely a very helpful thing. All right. I want to shift gears again to something I heard, right? So I can't remember, and I wish I could give credit to where credit's due here, but I was sitting at a talk somewhere at some event, one of the 90 events I've been to in the last 2 years. And I remember the guy sitting there and saying, Hito, one of the ways that they internally test new products and validate new products is to go see if people will pay money for them. And what they do is they go pre-sell them, but they don't even just pre-sell them. What they do is they go put up a landing page. They position and put the setup on the product, even a picture of it, and they literally try to sell it and try to get people to pay for it. And when they collect the money, they go, sorry, we're just kidding, and give the money back. But they'll literally go and put ads against it. They'll go put it on the market. They'll go position it, and they'll go sell it. The pre-selling approach, right? And then there's the other set of pre-selling approaches where you're saying hey, I've got a product coming. I would love to pre-sell this to you. What do you guys have thoughts around pre-selling or selling like what I just kind of shared? And I thought it was brilliant.
I like the latter.
Okay.
I extremely dislike the first one. I think you're just setting a bad experience for a customer where they decide to make a purchase with you, and then you tell them, hey, no, this isn't available.
But they're refunding the money, right?
Yeah, but I feel like it doesn't give a warm and fuzzy, transparent, why did you do that?
Okay.
I think it could work for an established brand or company when you do not the refund piece of it, but the pre-sale piece. You can't pre-sale a business that doesn't exist yet.
What if there's no...
I love pre-sale products.
What if you're a brand new business and you spin up a third-party name that's not the actual product name, but you just sell the product and then refund them just
no one even knows who it is.
No one knows who you are. Just show up.
I love it.
That's what he was saying.
I think it's
That's what he was saying.
It's a good idea.
Not an experience.
You need some validation. There you go.
Yeah.
If people are going to do that, by the way, there's a way to do it where you don't even take their money. You just authorize the card.
He said that.
That's
yeah,
the way
he said
we've
you
done
authorize
it
for
before.
$1 as a
No,
pre-sale.
That makes sense.
Now that I understand this, I love this.
Not established brands.
Yeah.
Talking
You
about
want some validation?
Yeah.
Get their wallet out.
Yeah, so that was one method someone was talking
I like
about,
that.
how
We
they
should do it all the
validate
time.
products
Really?
before they launch, just to go out there to say, hey, is there a market for this product, and is this positioning working? Will people pull out their credit cards and try to swipe?
No,
I like that.
it's great. So, it's funny. You go back to 2015 when we launched BattleBox, and the model, and I mean, technically, it's not that way anymore, but what it used to be is when you bought that first box wasn't shipped to you for weeks.
True.
Right? I mean, even now, we renew on the 15th, you don't get the box till the following month.
But the messaging is clear.
Yeah, but the reality is that's what you were pre-selling, right? We had everyone's money before we technically had to order the product if we're talking about 100 customers, right?
Sure.
So I love it. And I love the spinning up and testing.
Yeah, no, that's actually, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
You go run paid ads against it. Like the
Yeah, just
fastest
see-
way to validate if a product's going to be working
if
or
it
not.
actually
Hey,
sells.
I have 10 grand to test my idea.
Not even that much. You don't
Whatever,
even need
couple grand, whatever.
you need- this guy was talking about less than $1,000. Like you spin up a website, right? Like a landing page only site. You put up a product and you go spend $1,000 on meta ads and see if anyone will pull out their wallet. And then they also check, like when they do pull out their wallet and you refund them and cancel them, how many people complain because it was such a problem, right?
Interesting.
That's how they measure it real
Yeah.
quick, just to get at least an early inkling. Now, this talk, I don't remember when it was, but let's just assume CAC was $20, right? Like it wasn't an expensive product, right? So you can get 50, 60 sales out of it so you can get enough validation.
And what we did, we actually didn't even do it with Meta because Meta is more prospecting, really, or retargeting. We did it with Google AdWords.
Okay. Yeah. Direct
Because
buyers,
people are
fire
high
sales.
intent.
Yeah. Higher intent.
Yeah.
And
No,
then,
it's interesting.
and then the pre-sale is obviously a different type of machine where you have trust and loyalty within your brand and people are willing to put the money forward because of that. But it at least can give you a validation when you start pre-selling stuff, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think without a extreme brand affinity, I think you can pre-sell if you set proper expectations.
Yeah.
People, consumers
The
are
other
pretty.
thing we did too is we did price validation through it.
Yeah.
So you just increase or decrease the price depending where you want to see where the sweet spot is.
Sure.
And based on that, you get price validation, you
love
get
that.
product validation for the price.
Yeah. But then there's also, when you think about pre-selling, I also think two ways, right? There's either the pre-launch or the pre-selling. What I mean by pre-selling is people actually buying and facilitating a transaction versus a pre-launch where you're just building and creating hype.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that building and creating hype can create a negative or a false sense of sales that happens, right? Versus a pre-sale where you're getting someone to pull out the credit card and actually take it. Because you can get a lot of people to say, hey, I'm interested in the product. I'll put my name, email information, SMS information in, but that doesn't mean that they're going to actually convert into that sale.
And if one of the three of you guys are sending it to me, I'm going to do it because I'm a friend, but I'm not actually going to buy the product per se, right? So I'm doing a disservice again and giving that false hope.
That's
So-
a true another
Yeah.
one too.
Back in the day, this was a very popular model. Like Harry's probably did the best campaign for what you're talking about. But the problem too is 15, 20 years ago, you could acquire emails for pennies on the dollar, where today it's a whole different.
Well, I mean, even if we look at someone like Tesla, right? They pre-launch every product that they sell, right? They've done great until the Cybertruck. Cybertruck is the first failure when it comes to their pre-launch
Is it?
sales.
It's considered a
It's
failure.
considered a
Yeah.
failure comparably. Every other one, they've done incredible numbers, even down to their recent Y launch and everything, just the Cybertruck. And I think the problem was hype, right? A $45,000 truck that they brought out at $120,000. False expectations, misaligned expectations. If they would have launched at $45,000, I think they would have had a huge hit.
Yeah, totally.
Because I think the truck is worth $45,000 if you bought it, but $120 is a lot different story because the level of why you buy a pickup truck, it changes completely when you're at a six-figure price point.
Yeah.
So, one of the popular things that people talk about, you guys ever heard of the smoke test?
I don't think I have.
Amara, do you want to explain a smoke test?
Go ahead.
Okay, so a smoke test is very simple. It's like before you build the product, you basically put the product in the market. It's kind of like pre-launch or pre-selling it, and you see where all the things that people start picking on it right away. Where's the smoke coming out of, right? So you're thinking about what do you need to market and what do you need to start focusing on? And I think, again, it goes back to that pre-launch idea, except you're letting people pick on the product ultimately and give you ideas of what they're going to pick on so you can market and strategize a lot of things.
your story you told us about the guy.
Exactly. That is literally the smoke test
Yeah.
that's happening.
Oh.
Because
I
you're
actually
going
thought
to
it was
see
the
the product
opposite.
in the comments.
What's the opposite?
I thought it was opposite to where you think it's working well, but it's not actually.
Oh, it's
No,
it's
no.
good that you explained it.
You want people to basically put it out there, and you want people to pick on it and give you ideas of where the smoke is leaking. Right? If you do a smoke test on something, you want to see where the smoke's leaking out of. You want to know where the positioning is happening before. I think as I kind of mentioned already with that structure, like a lot of that convinces you on how to move on your development forward and how to market your product forward. And I think what's really interesting about that validation is that people don't do enough of the testing before they get the product into market, and before they go spend thousands or hundreds of thousands into the product. They need to go validate these things. And one of the ways that I think people think about the smoke test is through interviews and being able to talk to customers, right? and being able to talk to potential customers. And I know we talked about this a couple pods ago, but there's ways to talk to them through like the local environment by just literally doing the whole like, hey, do you like iPhones? Yeah, can you tell me about this or that? There's like this, and then there's like the online studies, there's the panels, the blind panels you can get. We know we can talk about there, but when you talk about interviews, right, and you're talking to customers, what is the question? Any key questions that you guys have gotten like aha moments when you talk to customers? Is there an enlightening moment when you guys are talking to customers that really helped you kind of make a decision forward on product?
Yeah, well, we're actually doing something similar here in 2 weeks when we're going to PFX West, where we had we're in our retail channel, we had treats in the same size as we did online. And we noticed online, obviously, people are buying in bulk, they're getting free shipping. But in retail, we didn't have a treat that was available in a retail-friendly pricing structure. So when our retail guy was like going around, it's like, yeah, treat sales aren't doing well. And, when they go in and do like product sampling, or they'll do events with certain stores. And the one big thing is like, I wish I could just buy, people are like, a bunch of your treats in like a smaller size, spend $50 and try a bunch of your treats. And then it's like, all right, well, all these other companies are starting to come out with 2 and 3 ounce treats. Our closest next size is 4 ounces, where customers are spending $24.99 to $28.99. We need something between $10.99 and $15.99 in a smaller size. And that wasn't even a thought to come to mind until our retail guy went around and was like, why aren't our treats selling right now? And that was why. And then we're now utilizing the retail show to pre-sale the new treat line that we're coming out with, because we're already taking an existing product and just packaging it differently, so that we don't have to worry about ordering product for the pre-sale. All we have to do is order the bags, but we have a 90-day window to pre-sale before the product ships to stores. So we'll collect all the money up front and see how that goes. Purchase orders in, not necessarily money, but the POs will be in. And that'll be a perfect example, sort of intertwining everything we're talking about right now.
That makes sense. So you're using physical events, or trade shows, or a farmer's market, or any of the things to really get your validation out in front of real people. Yeah. So this is kind of like the street corner thing, except really highly targeted individuals or buyers of the product. Ultimately.
For sure. Yep.
All right, let's wrap this thing up with the single biggest validation mistake that you see new entrepreneurs make. Amir, I'm going to kick it off with you. What do you think is the biggest mistake that new entrepreneurs are doing when they're product validating?
I hate to do it, but I'm going to go with a very, very easy one.
It should be easy.
Talking to their circle.
Talking to their circle. Okay.
Yeah, that's
what I was
biggest one.
And we've talked about it a lot, but the reality
so don't talk to your
is,
inner circle. Anything new?
Yes, self-validation is almost always irrelevant.
Explain.
Self-validation, like gut following his gut?
Yeah, like you may think you have a cool idea based on product, price, packaging, etc., and you may think this is it. Who cares about what you think?
And
it's irrelevant.
I'll add
you're not buying your own product.
Like a little bit of a different one. Whenever you're doing validation, give yourself a time frame and stick to it. And don't say 3 months, 6 months, 15 days, 30 days. Put a plan together, stick to it, and if you get 70% done, go.
Still go.
Just
go.
Yeah.
Like the McDonald's. Have you guys seen the Founders movie on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Keaton?
That same effect, where obviously they grew an existing single storefront, but the lines that they used to have were down the street. Like you need to create your own line down the street waiting for your product in order to see that true validation of what you think. Because sometimes you may not even realize how good of an idea you have until you see that line down the street.
Yeah, I think my advice when the single validation is just because you make your first couple sales doesn't mean that like you've got anything.
Yeah.
You got to constantly and continuously validate and listen to your customers so that you're always going through and like really making sure that you are continuously validating, because I feel like product market fit is like a moving target.
It's a moving target. It might change.
And things will change, and suddenly your price points will increase, your market will change. It's a constant validation movement, so it never ends. And I think that's the key lesson in my opinion, that this lesson never ends. You're always validating. You're always continuously listening to your customers. And the moment it stops selling is probably too late, because you probably weren't listening well enough.
Yeah, love that.
So, all right, folks, with that, for the Android Living Survival King, John Roman, for the Prince of Bosnia for the funniest dude on LinkedIn. We are the Awesome Pod. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next show.
Welcome to the Awesome Pod, where we talked a lot. E-com was the path that we walked a lot. But now the question is, will you subscribe or not? Ha!